In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 different ways that you can integrate Gmail or Outlook to help save you time when you're using Monday.com. I'm going to show you the automations that you can build to automatically trigger an email to be sent out to save you time.
Hi, my name is Tara, and I'm a certified Monday.com partner and the founder of SimpleDay. My goal is to help you build powerful yet simple workflows with Monday.com. If you need help with a custom implementation, my contact details are in the description below. Let's jump into today's tutorial and make Monday the best part of your week.
The first type of integration that we're going to talk about is an integration with email based on a status change. We're going to use the example of an e-commerce company. Every e-commerce company sends out items. Something needs to be shipped. So the example is going to be when status changes to shipped, send an email. You can see on my board here that I have a group of new orders, a group of in progress, and if I scroll down, a group of delivered or shipped. 2 important columns that I think should be on this board is a tracking link and an email column, so we can send the email to the correct customer. So our trigger that we want to build for our automation is the trigger is when status changes to shipped, send an email. So let's go in and build this. We're going to click on the integrate button, and this is going to take you to the integration center. Here, I'm going to choose Gmail because Gmail is my email provider. I'm already connected to Gmail. If you're not connected, you do need to go through a few different steps of actually connecting to Gmail. You'll see that it's going to automatically walk you through the entire process. Here you can see all of the preset recipes that I have with Gmail. Basically, what Monday will automatically do with Gmail if you just use these recipes. You also can build custom recipes, but for this use case, it's pretty straightforward, so we can use one of these recipes. And what I'm looking for is this one that states, when status changes to something, send an email to someone. So I'm going to click Use Template, and here I need to connect to my email. And now I have all of the options that I need to fill in order to create this automation. So I'm going to start with my trigger, which is when status changes. So I'm going to click on this, and when order status, remember that's the name of my column, changes to shipped. So I'm choosing which status we're going to choose. Send an email to someone. I'm going to start with the someone column, and I'm going to choose which column. Here I'm going to click on email column and then email. And now I have to create the email. So you can see here that I have the subject and I have all of these options, which essentially are placeholders of information that you can pull from your board. So I'm going to add my subject, your order has shipped. And now let's go create my email. I can say, hi, your order. Now, in this case, the order number is the item on the board. So I'm going to add an item name. So it's going to say your order, and it's going to have a number, has been shipped. And now what I can do is add in the tracking link. Here is your tracking link. And I'm going to add in tracking link. You can add in any columns that you want from the board to this email. And I think we're going to leave it short for this example, and I just hit create automation. Now, if I go back to my board and I change this status to shipped, let's see what happens. So you can see that it was shipped. There also is an automation that moves it to this group. And now let's go over and check my email. Here you can see I'm inside my email, and I got an email from my work email to my personal email, and it says, hi, your order, remember we have the order number, has been shipped. Here is the tracking link. Again, pulling in the information that was in my columns. So just to summarize, the first trigger is when a status changes that you can automatically send out an email. The second option that I want to share with you about how you can use email to automate processes within Monday.com is when a new item is created on a board. In this board, you can see that each line item is a payment. So essentially, every time a new payment comes in, a new line item is added to this board. And that creation of an item is going to be the trigger that we are going to use in this example. So these are all of my payments. And anytime someone wants to pay, I want to send them an email. A great example of this is if you're doing onboarding for someone and as soon as they pay, you want to send them instructions for onboarding, you can easily send them an email. I'm going to click on integrate, and then I'm going to click on my Gmail option. The recipe that I want to look for is when a new item is created, send an email to someone. So I'm going to use this template. Again, I have to connect to my email. And here I have when a new item is created, sends an email to someone. So I need to choose the person. And again, here we're going to use the email column. And then I need to write my email. Again, the same thing that we did before, that we need to set up the email that's going to automatically go to the person. And we can use different information from the board to pull it into email. I'm not going to recreate that part because you've already seen it. I want to show you a way that you can further customize this integration. So if I click on Create Automation, essentially I am creating my own custom automation. So I can do when item is created. Remember, that was our trigger before. And I'll do the same thing here, send an email. So I'm just going to search for Gmail, send an email. But I can put a qualifier on it. So maybe I have different emails that have to go out to different types of clients. And those clients are marked based on their status. So I can say only if the product that they bought, let's say, is the gold plan, then send out this email. But if it's the silver plan, send out another email. So just to summarize, we're using the same trigger of when an item is created. You can use a regular automation that you saw the preset recipes, or I can customize it if I want to be a little more specific, sending different emails to different people based on something else with my board. But the trigger is when an item is created. Like I mentioned, a great example of this is when you have a new client and you're doing an onboarding, or if you get an order in an e-commerce company, you can send an email when a new order comes in, which means like a new item has been added to your board. The last type of integration that we're going to talk about is going to be based on a date column. So we have a few different options. We can say when a date arrives, like in advance of the date, on the actual date, or after the date. We're going to jump into the same example of a board of Stripe payments. Now, for this board, these people are on a subscription model. So there's always another payment date. You can see this by this column called next payment date. What I want to do is send out an email 1 week before their next payment date, just letting them know that they have an upcoming payment. So I'm going to click on Automate. And for this one, we're going to do a custom automations. So create from scratch and click on when this happens. And I'm going to search for the word date. And when date arrives, right? That's our trigger. What do I want to do? I want to send an email. So I'm going to search for Gmail. Now, I'm going to click on the when. And here you can see that I can choose my time. So I have a lot of different time options. But more importantly, I can choose the time based on the date. So here I can say 1 day. You can see 1 day before. We said we want to do 1 week. So I'm going to click on this drop down and change to 1 week before. And our date is the next payment date. I'm going to send an email. And again, we need to choose which column. So to the email column, and I can write my email. If this Gmail is grayed out, it means that you need to reconnect your Gmail. Sometimes for some reason, the connection gets disconnected, or maybe you've never connected it. But here you can see what I'm doing is I'm basically sending an email to the customer 1 week before the payment is due. Now, there's a lot of different variations that I can use to make this even more sophisticated. So one example is I can say when the date arrives, right? But only if status is something. So I can say only if the status is paid, right? So when the next payment date arrives and only if status is paid, then send out an email. I can use this extra qualifier to decide who I want to send emails out to. I do want to add that sometimes creating these automations, if you have a lot of different variables, like if plan is this, send this email, if plan is that, send that email, it may be worth it to take a look at workflows, which allows you to have one workflow, which is essentially like one automation, but for all of these different options. I would love to hear about how you are using email integrations within Monday.com to save you time. So comment below and let me know.
Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and remember to subscribe to receive tips and tricks on how to use Monday.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.